Chapter 6 of the Picatrix. In what degree everything exists in the universe, and how it is known that man is a lesser world and corresponds to the greater world. You should know that knowledge is that which is truly noble and exalted, and whoever studies it and makes use of it receives its nobility and exaltation. Knowledge is what puts things in their order, because when one thing is known, another presently appears. He alone is perfect who attains the highest level of knowledge and delights in and loves that level of knowledge. They were called philosophers in Greek, and in Latin this word is properly interpreted as lovers of knowledge. Whoever does not strive for knowledge is defective and weak in authority, and therefore ought not to be called human, despite having the name, form, and figure of a human being. If such a person were to strive to learn knowledge, he would learn from it that he indeed is a human being, that he is a little world similar to the great world, and that he is a body together with a rational spirit, whole, animate, and reasoning, and that by these three spirits he is set apart from all other things in the world and from all other living things, inasmuch as he has reason. This word reason denotes the capacity for knowledge, because he is able to recognize appearances and determine that they are not realities, and direct his mind to whatever is in the world and whatever place that is in the world. By his knowledge and by his consciousness, and retain therein the power and potential of all that he hears. By this, he experiences through his consciousness whatever happens in the world and in man that is in the little world. For this latter is similar to the greater world, and which it corresponds in its form and the things found in it. He is similar to the animals in all natural things, but he is separated from the animals by his crafts and knowledge. He has 6 motions. He has hard bones, all ordered by nature in straight lines, which are moved by the parts beside them. He has fingers and hands composed of straight lines, and he has a round and valuable head. He receives knowledge and literacy, and discovers crafts, and gives up all animal things. These are not given up by any other animal. He laughs and weeps and gives voice to his sorrow as he sheds tears. In him is God's virtue and the knowledge of justice, so that he might govern cities. There is an image in him, having light within it, of which his body is an image. He is powerful in spirit and harmonious in his form. He knows what helps him and what harms him. He perfects arts and professions, while arts and professions are not given to other living things. He discovers subtle crafts and subtleties in them, and makes miracles and wonderful images, and retains the forms of knowledge. By all these things, he is separated by all other living beings. God made him the arranger and discoverer of his wisdom and knowledge, and the expounder of his qualities, and the receiver of all things in the world by the prophetic spirit, or the treasury of wisdom, which comprehends all things and their combinations that exist in the great world. Man himself also comprehends all intelligences and compositions of things in the world by his senses, while none of these comprehend him, and all things serve him, while he serves none of them. With his voice he may imitate any animal that he pleases, and make forms similar to them with his own hands, and count and describe them, and explain their nature and works with his words. By contrast, no animal has the power to understand man, or to change its voice, or imitate the voice of another. For example, chickens, lions, and dogs cannot change their voices to one another's, while man himself has the power in his natural voice to make all the other sounds of the animals, and to change their forms and similitudes as he wishes. He chooses useful habits and directs other animals in them, and reveals them to animals. Man has a dense body and a subtle spirit, for part of him is subtle and the other part dense. The subtle part belongs to life, and the dense part to death. The medium of the one is mobile, and of the other is fixed. The one medium is formed, and the other formless. The one medium is night, and the other day. One is light, and the other darkness. One visible, and the other hidden. One perceives, and the other only exists in perception. One presses down, and the other is pressed down. The one part is ashamed of evil works, and makes what it chooses, and repents of other works. It is composed of fine and subtle matter. It contains in itself the density of the earth, the subtlety of the air, the heat of the fire, and the coldness of the water, out of which it is made equal in motion by its own vital power. It knows the heat of fire because of the heat that is in man, and the coldness of water by the coldness revealed in him. And in this way, every element out of which he is made is known in him. The form of his head is the form of heaven, and its figure is similar to heaven's rotundity. More generally, the form of every subtle thing is joined to him. The universal form of man is the container of the form of the universal spirit, and the universal spirit is the container of the universal consciousness, and the universal consciousness is the form of the light from which consciousness proceeds. Thus light is the material of universal consciousness, which is higher than all inferior things, and matter is always inferior to light and simpler than it. This man is completed out of the composite human form, which is served by all other bodies, and itself is conjoined with other natures. Whoever desires to know all this ought to be pure, inclined to virtue, clean and free from all bodily filth and all disturbing thoughts, because One who is thus disposed is able, with his consciousness, to seek and behold and attain certainty in this matter. Now, though in speaking of the foregoing, we have deviated from the intent of this book, for it and its consciousness are the roots of those things on which this book, which is about the science of magic, is grounded. If you labor unceasingly in knowledge and in matters of the intellect, and in perception of those things that are, then no matter what happens, you will be able to search out and to understand sorcery and magic. Plato says as much in the book he wrote called Timaeus, which goes on at great length in words and reasoning about forms. He expounded this reason very well where it says that in occult matters, it is the habit of the wise to cover up and conceal their knowledge in such a way that the foolish are not able to discover it. Another sage named Zedalius wrote something similar in his book where it says, in all these matters, to be hidden and profound. The concealment and profundity of words is the subtlety of the wise in their reasoning, so that they cannot be understood without much contemplation. Their meaning lies hidden therein until intelligence extracts it from its concealments, and then it is extracted from a different meaning that is understood by the intellect at first glance. This science of magic is divided into two parts, of which one is manifest and the other deeply hidden. The part deeply hidden is profound, and there are profound perceptions that cannot be grasped except with others that come before them through hard work, until their relationship becomes apparent and they are uncovered. If anyone thoroughly studies this, according to the dictum just given, he will have all that he desires, and secrets will be open to him, and thereby he will attain what he wishes. The byways and the highways leading to this attainment are many, however. Some of them are to take proofs from the manifest and apply them to the hidden, and returning the branches to the root in order to join them together, and to assemble in one's consciousness and thought the credible sayings of saintly men or of some particular saint. In this way you will reach completion and perfection, and you will attain what you wish. And the manifest and concealed meaning of these words will be revealed to you. Likewise, you will be granted the right to pass freely on the roads just mentioned, so that you will be able to attain knowledge and penetrate and uncover hidden things, because by each of the aforesaid roads you will be able to attain what you wish, and understand knowledge and its meanings, and understand all things, and perceive all things in their proper order.